राय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So we are discussing Dhruva Charitra, Narada Muni's instructions to Narada Muni's instructions to Dhruva Maharaj. Uh, Narada Muni described to Dhruva Maharaj how one should meditate on the form of the Supreme Lord. He told him to go to Madhuvan and take bath there 3 times a day, perform pranayama, bring his mind under control, and meditate on the form of the Supreme Lord. And then Narada Muni said that Japascha paramo guhya shruyatam me nripatmaja yam shaptaratram prapatan puman pashyati kecharan. Now I am going to tell you a very secret mantra, paramo guhyam, by chanting which a person can see the associates of the Lord traveling in the sky in 7 days. This is the verse we stopped last time. So in this purport, I want to discuss something and then we'll go ahead. In this shloka, Narada Muni says that Japascha paramo guhyam. Chant this mantra which is confidential in nature, which is very confidential. If the mantra is very confidential, then why is it mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is available to everyone? Prabhupada says that it is confidential because although one may see a published mantra in any book or in any recording, but unless the mantra is received through the parampara, disciplic succession, the mantra does not act, or the mantra will not act completely. In this regard, I will describe about the importance of the receiving the mantra to the parampara or the sampradaya. The word, sometimes people may think that what is the need to get connected to a sampradaya? Uh, Generally, there is a modern trend is that I am spiritual but not religious. I practice spirituality, but I am not connected to a sampradaya. I don't have a guru like that. This is something like equivalent to we stay together, but we are not married. to the same this thing, because people feel that if we get married, then we will be bound by commitments, responsibilities. We don't want that aspect, but we want to stay together. So similarly, people want to say we practice spirituality, but I don't want to be bound by being committed to a sampradaya or a param or a guru. This is one of the modern thought process, but let us see some of the what is the proper thought process in regarding the importance of being connected to a sampradaya. So the word sampradaya is commonly translated in English as sect. Sect means a path. So usually the word sect has a connotation that it refers to a group of people with a narrow frame of mind and who are not open to others' points of view. But when we see the etymological meaning of the word sampradaya, sampradaya means samyak prakarshena daya. Samyak prakarshena daya. Samyak means complete. Prakarshena means thoroughly. Dayaha means the act of bestowing. So sampradaya means the medium through which complete and thorough bestowing of the spiritual realization occurs. So therefore, when we translate the word sampradaya as a sect, as a narrow sect, it proves that not only so much of meaning is lost, but it is often misunderstood. So in the previous time, during the Vedic culture, affiliating oneself to a sampradaya, it was not considered something that one would be hesitant to do. Previously, just like being situated in an ashrama, grihastha ashrama or brahmachari ashrama, one would not be hesitant to do it. In fact, actually in the past age, previously, no one would be accepted as a spiritualist unless they had been admitted to a sampradaya. The importance of being affiliated to sampradaya is it was considered a very important qualification, which is very different from the modern thought process, which encourages people as be spiritual but not religious. In fact, in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam commentary, Srila Sridhar Swami writes in his commentary Bhavartha Deepika, he says, Sampradayanu rodena Paurva Paryanu Sarataha Shri Bhagavata Bhavartha Deepikeyam Pratanyate. In accordance with my Sampradaya and adhering to a logical sequence, and I commence this commentary called as on the Srimad Bhagavatam called Bhavartha Deepika, the lamp of essential meanings. So one may say that why does Sridhar Swami restrict himself to a sampradaya? Is it not a narrow frame of vision to describe things as per one's limited group? So actually, Sridhar Swami is demonstrating his honesty by declaring his adherence to a sampradaya. He could have easily claimed to be the knower of the conclusions of all the sampradayas. He may have even read their books, but he does not claim to be able to write a commentary according to any other sampradaya besides his own sampradaya. Because one does not gain realized knowledge simply by reading their books. Simply by reading their books. So generally, one gains the realized knowledge by hearing from a person belonging to the sampradaya. So therefore, the essential idea behind a sampradaya is to protect a valuable flow of knowledge and realization. Yeah, any single person cannot get knowledge of all the sampradayas, all the scriptures. No one can claim to know all the fields of knowledge. Everyone who aims for spiritual realization, he has to make a wise decision as to what he considers as the aim of life. What is the sadhya which is offered by different sampradayas, and which sadhya do I want to pursue? And then a person adheres to that sampradaya, and then he must gain the knowledge passed through that sampradaya. Aneka shastram bahulascha vidya alpascha kalo bahu vignatacha yat sarabhutam tad upasaniyam hamso yata kshiram ivambu mishram. There are unlimited scriptures regarding innumerable sciences, and the time is limited, and the obstacles are many. So therefore, only the essential truth is to be known, and it is to be worshipped. Just like a swan separates the essence, that is the milk, from the inessential water. So, what is one of the definition of the sampradaya? For example, in the a definition of a sampradaya is quoted, is spoken by Lord Vishnu. It is quoted in a book called as Sangeeta Ratnakara. Lord Vishnu's definition of a sampradaya: Shastranu Shastra Anuktasyapi Shastrena Abhyanugnatasya Shastra Avirodhinortha Visheshasya Acharya Shishya Paramparaya Yat Upadesha Pradhanam Sa Sampradaya It Yetal Lakshana Lakshitatva Tatacha Uktam. So knowledge, even if not spoken directly in the Shastra, but if it is not opposed by the Shastra and is supported indirectly by the Shastra, if such a special knowledge is transmitted in a disciplic succession, then that is called as sampradaya. It's a very important point. Shastra, which is even not directly spoken in the Shastra, for the knowledge which is not directly spoken in the Shastra. For example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, in one sense, it is not directly spoken in the Shastra. But at the same time, it is not opposed by the Shastra. Because Shastra says, Channa Kalau. In the Kali Yuga, the Lord appears as in a covered incarnation. And Shastra, at the same time, the knowledge is supported indirectly by the Shastra. Anugyatasya. Because there are verses like Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtana Prayer Ejantihi Sumedasaha or Tyaktva Sudustyaja Surepsita Rajya Lakshmi Dharmishta Arya Vachasa Yadagadharanyam Mayamrugam Daita Yepsita Manvadavat Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. These verses they support the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So such knowledge, which is transmitted through the disciplic succession in the Gaudiya Sampradaya through the Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, that disciplic succession is called as Sampradaya. So then Lord Vishnu says that Yo yat samyak vijanite sa yat vadati tatvatah sa sampradaya katito Vishnuna loka jishnuna. A sampradaya is the truthful transmission of the facts by one who knows them correctly and completely. So therefore, that in the Kali Yuga, when the prominence of the Harinam Sankirtan, that is which is the Yuga Dharma, it is obvious that receiving a Vaishnava mantra is the highest spiritual benefit one can get from a sampradaya. So one may ask a question that is initiation required for chanting a mantra? So there is also a section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela. In the Madhya Leela 15.108, there is an elaborate discussion, when you can read the Prabhupada's purport, whether a person needs Diksha. So there it is clearly mentioned that Harinam does not depend on Diksha. Harinam does not depend on Diksha. So Lakshmi Dara in the Bhagavan Nama Kaumudi, he says that Akrishti Krita Chetasam Sumanasam Uchatanam Chamhasam Achandalam Amuka Loka Sulabho Vashyascha Mukti Shriya No Diksham Nacha Satkriyam Nacha Purashchariyam Managikshate Mantroyam Rasana Sprugeva Palati Shri Krishna Namatmakaha. The holy name of Krishna, having attracted the hearts of the saintly souls and having destroyed all the sins, is now easily available for all classes of people, all the way down to Chandala. The holy name has conquered and controlled the opulence of liberation. No Diksham Nacha Satkriyam. The holy name does not depend on Diksha. Neither does it wait for any rituals or other preparatory purifications. This mantra is such that it becomes fruitful simply by coming in contact with the tongue. So this verse is also quoted by Rupa Goswami in his Padyavali and by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 15.110. Although it is true that holy name does not depend on Diksha, but it should not be interpreted that one does not need Diksha to attain perfection in spiritual life. So, because in Diksha, a person is accepting a subordination to a devotee of Krishna. When a person accepts one subordination to a guru, a representative of Krishna, then Krishna takes that living entity seriously. So this person has surrendered to my devotee. So Krishna takes it seriously. So the initiation mantra is one of the many things that the guru in a sampradaya bestows on a disciple. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami in his Mukta Charita, he is listing many of the wonderful gifts that he attained by the mercy of the Guru. He says that by the mercy of the Guru, I have obtained the topmost holy name, Nama Shreshtam, the divine mantra. And by the mercy of the Guru, I have obtained personalities like Sri Sachinandan, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. And I have obtained the residences in holy places like Mathura, Vrindavan, Radha Kunda, Govardhan. And of course, most importantly, by the mercy of the Guru, I have attained the desire and hope to render confidential service to Sri Sri Radha Madhav. So, although, therefore, even Raghunath Das Goswami, he has mentioned that holy name is a gift I have received from a Guru. Yeah, technically, definitely, holy name is independent of Diksha. At the same time, great acharyas, they have received the holy name through the sampradaya. Because accepting a guru means accepting subordination to a person. And generally, people think that oh God, when we accept a guru, the guru may exploit us, like that one may think. But a bona fide guru does not exploit one. Bona fide guru is a genuine well-wisher of everyone. Genuine well-wisher of a person. He does not exploit a person. And also, there is in a book called as Matrika Veda Tantra. This book lists the faults that enter into a mantra if the mantra is received merely through a book. Instead of receiving the mantra through the Diksha process, if a person receives the mantra only through the book, what faults can enter into a mantra? He says that abhakti, one may end up considering the mantra as a mere collection of the syllables without any inherent sense of devotion in those syllables. Abhakti. Akshara Bhranti. Abhaktis Chakshare Bhrantir. Akshara Bhranti. One may misunderstand one or more syllables in the mantra to be some other syllable. Lupta. Sometimes there may be printing mistake in the book. Some syllables may be missing from the book. Chinna. Sometimes in the mantras where the syllables are tightly joined together, one may not pronounce half a syllable or a complete syllable. Hrasva. Sometimes one may, because of certain printing mistakes, one may pronounce the hrasva as dirgha or vice versa. Katana. Or one may speak out a secret mantra to an unqualified person. Or swapna. One may speak out a secret mantra to an unqualified person while sleeping or while awake. In that way, there may be different faults which can occur when a person receives the mantra only through the book. Therefore, Gautamian Tantra says that Sampradaya Vihina ye mantraste nishphala mataha. Mantras without a proper sampradaya are fruitless, like that he said. So therefore, it is a duty of anybody interested in spiritual life is to approach a sampradaya for gaining proper realization. That is what Prabhupada emphasizes in this shloka. So we'll go to the 54th shloka. In the shloka, Narada Muni mentions the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
मन्त्रेणानेन देवस्य
मन्त्रेणानेन देवस्य
कुर्याद्द्रव्यमयीं बुधः
कुर्याद्द्रव्यमयीं बुधा
सपर्यां विविधैर्द्रव्यैर्
सपर्यां विविधैर्द्रव्यैर्
देशकालविभागवित्
देशकालविभागविता. Translation: Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is the 12th syllable mantra for worshipping Lord Krishna. One should install the physical forms of the Lord, and with the chanting of the mantra, one should offer flowers and fruits and other varieties of foodstuffs exactly according to the rules and regulations prescribed by authorities. But this should be done in consideration of place, time, and attendant conveniences and inconveniences.
So here, one minute. This is the shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he is giving the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mantrena Anena Devasya Kurya Dravyamayim Buddha. Buddha means an intelligent person, a learned person. Desha Kala Vibhagavit, who knows the time and place, who is expert in the considerations of time and place. Kurya Dravyamayim Buddha Sapariyam Vividair Dravyai. You should perform the worship of the deity of Krishna by using the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Mantrena Anena, and Dravyamayim with various items, Vividair Dravyair with various items according to the time, place, and circumstance. This is an important. Desha Kala Vibhagavad is important. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions a comment. It is understood from this that teaching the Vaishnava mantra with Om to persons without Upanayanam is allowed. Generally, the mantras are given only to those who have undergone the Upanayana samskara. But the exception is the Vaishnava mantra. Vaishnava mantra with Om, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, can be given even to persons without the Upanayana samskara. This is an exceptional rule. So here, Narada Muni is telling that you worship the Supreme Lord with different articles according to time, place, and circumstance. Desha Kala Vibhagavit. So if we see that, Prabhupada says that generally there is an injunction that those who are not Brahmanas should not pronounce the Pranava mantra, that is Om. Dhruva Maharaj was born a Kshatriya. He told Narada Muni, your instructions are suitable for a Brahmana, but for a Kshatriya like me, I cannot accept your instructions. So, but although Dhruva Maharaj was not a Brahmana, but a Kshatriya, but on the authority of Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj was allowed to pronounce the Pranava mantra. And that is very significant. So Prabhupada says that sometimes when Prabhupada gave Diksha to the Westerners, in India, many of the caste conscious Brahmanas objected to that. How can you give this mantra to the Westerners, Malaysians, like that? They objected. But so Prabhupada explains that. But here is a proof that Dhruva Maharaj, although he was not a Brahmana, but he was given the Vaishnava mantra with the Pranava. That if a person accepts the Vaishnava mantra or a Vaishnava way of worshipping the deity, he is allowed to chant the Pranava mantra. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syu papayonayah striyo vaishya sada shudra stepi yanti paramgate. Anybody, whether a person is born in a Shudra, Vaishya, or whichever this one, whatever Papa Yoni, but he can be elevated to the highest position. The starting point is immaterial. What is important is that taking shelter of Krishna, if a person worships Krishna faithfully, then anybody can achieve the highest perfection. So then Prabhupada says that, the prescribed rules as stated by Narada Muni are that one must accept a mantra through a bona fide guru and hear the mantra in the right ear. So, not only should one chant or murmur the mantra, but in front of him, he must have the deity or a physical form of the Lord. So, and then Prabhupada says that when we talk about a deity form is not simply a stone. Just like an iron rod, when it's heated by a fire, it no longer acts like an iron, but rather it acts like a fire. Similarly, the deity form which is made of a stone or a wood, when it is installed through the proper prana pratishta samskara, then the deity is non-different from Krishna. So, and then Prabhupada explains that one must worship the deity with whatever articles are obtained according to time, place, and circumstance. So, chanting the mantra and preparing the forms of the Lord is not stereotyped, nor is it exactly the same everywhere. So, Desha Kala Vibhagavit is important. So sometimes, like for example, when Prabhupada started the movement in the West, many things which need to be done for a traditional worship of the deities were not available. Sometimes, I think in one of the earlier temples, using candle light, using candles, he offered arati. At that time in the West, when he didn't have much facilities, he had to do that. Like that, there are many stories there. He converted a laundromat into a temple. Traditionally, a temple is built by purchasing a land and then by seeing the vastu, and then you actually build the temple right from the scratch. But in the Western countries, Prabhupada did not have that luxury. He had to, whatever buildings were available, which were previously used for some other purpose, he converted them into the temple. And sometimes people who are rooted in tradition, they may criticize that, oh, this rule has not been followed, that has not been followed. But then they forget this instruction of Narada Muni, where Narada Muni says that Desha Kala Vivagavit. One must consider the particular time, place, and circumstances. So in India, what is convenient may not be convenient in the Western countries. So generally, people there is a principle and there is a detail. One should be uncompromising in regarding the principles, but one should be flexible in regarding the details. But when a person is uncompromising regarding the details, then they are called as the conservative or the orthodox people. When a person becomes uncompromising or rigid about the details, then they are actually orthodox or conservative people. Or when a person becomes flexible regarding the principles, such people are called the deviants. They become liberal. they become so liberal that they compromise the principles itself. There were some sannyasis who went to the West, and so that sannyasi was in pant shirt, and he also adopted many of the habits of the Western people. Instead of becoming uncompromising about the principles, they compromise certain principles. So therefore, one should be uncompromising about the principles, but flexible regarding the details. So one time, Shrutakirti Prabhu asked Prabhupada, how do we know that which is a principle and which is a detail? Then Prabhupada said that that requires some intelligence. Where we can be flexible and where we cannot be flexible, where we have to be uncompromising. So that requires a maturity, which is a principle, which is a detail. Even say in ISKCON, certain spiritual leaders, in the name of being liberal, in the name of attracting many people, they compromised with certain principles at certain time, and that resulted in different deviation. So therefore, it requires maturity to differentiate between a principle and a detail. So those who are not actually in the line of the acharyas and who personally have no knowledge of how to act in the role of an acharya, they may unnecessarily criticize the activities, especially of ISKCON in countries outside of India. So there are people who have not put the effort to spread the Sanatan Dharma outside India. And when somebody is making an attempt to spread Sanatan Dharma outside India, taking so many risks and inconveniences, so at that time, there are people who are criticized that, oh, you are not following this particular rule. You are changing the manner of worship, etc. Like that, one may criticize based on the rigidity in the details. So Prabhupada is therefore commenting on this word Desha Kala Vibhaga with very important. Yeah, one who knows the time, place, and circumstances. He worships the Lord according to the articles which are easily available in that particular area. Of course, like you cannot worship the Lord with some meat and certain tamoguna things. But whatever is available in that country, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. Prabhupada invented different sweets, simply wonderful. Some sugar powder and then ghee and milk powder, and then with that he invented some he made some laddus and he called it's called as simply wonderful. So whatever is available there, which are in Sattva Guda, vegetables and this one, with that he actually offered different things. Then Prabhupada quotes Veera Raghava Acharya. Veera Raghava Acharya is an Acharya in the Sri Sampradaya who has written commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says that Chandalas are conditioned souls who are born in the Shudra families, lower than Shudra families, can also be initiated according to the circumstances. So for the Vaishnava Diksha, the formalities can be slightly changed. For the Vaishnava Diksha, the birth consideration is not there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends that the holy name should be spread everywhere. Bharata Bhumite Hoye, Sarvatra Nama Prachar, everywhere it should be spread. So how can it be possible unless one preaches everywhere? So yes, therefore, he is recommending that every Indian should do Para Upakara. So the Para Upakara is not only for the Brahmanas, It is for all the Varnas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, everyone should be given the Krishna Nam, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not that only the Indians and the Hindus should be brought to the Vaishnava cult. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that everyone should be given the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So everyone should be given because Krishna is the seed-giving father of all the living entities. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir agam bija pradapita. So everybody, Krishna is the seed-giving father of every living entity. So therefore, the Krishna consciousness is meant for everyone. Even among those people who are born in the Chandala, Malecha, the Yavana families. So therefore, in the Haribhakti Vilasa, Sanatana Goswami has also mentioned that what is the process of Diksha? He says that Diksha is the process, just like a mercury can be turned into a gold by a particular process. Similarly, Diksha is a process by which anybody from any background can become a Vaishnava. That is called as Diksha Vidhana. So Krishna also mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamhi Partha Vyapashritya Episyu Papa Yonayah. So therefore, in this shloka, Prabhupada is commenting on the word Desha Kala Vibhagavit, because Krishna Bhakti is meant for every person, irrespective of the country, community, caste, etc. So Krishna Bhakti should be spread everywhere according to time, place, and circumstances. Next shloka. Salilai Shuchi Birmal Yair
Relay Suchi Nirmayaihi
Vanyair Mulaphaladibihi
Yai Mulapaladibihi
Shastang Shastangkuram Shastangkuram Shukaishcharchet
Yasang Quran Shukai Charte
Tulasya Priyaya Prabhum.
Lasya Priyaya Prabham. One should worship the Lord by offering pure water, pure flower garlands, fruits, flowers, and vegetables which are available in the forest, or by collecting newly grown grasses, small buds of flowers, or even the skins of trees, and if possible, by offering tulsi leaves, which are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So here you see Salilai Shuchibir Malyair Vanyair Mula Paladibihi. So if you see the shloka, Shuchibir means pure. One should worship the Lord with a pure water. Shuchibir Salilai. And the Shuchibir can also be used as an adjective for other words also. Shuchibir Malyai with a pure garland. Garlands made from the forest flowers. Malyair Vanyair. Mula Paladibihi. With the fruits and roots available in the forest. Shastan Kuram Shuktais Charchet with the sprouts and with the cloth and deer tulasi. Tulasya Priyaya. Priyaya is used as an adjective for tulasi. One must worship the Lord with a dear tulasi. With a dear tulasi. So here Prabhupada will comment on that. So Tulasi leaves are very dear to the Supreme Lord. Maybe in the next class I will discuss about Tulasi. I didn't have time to see that. Tulasi leaves are very dear to the Lord. And devotees should take particular care to have the Tulasi leaves in every temple and center of worship. So especially in the Western countries, to grow Tulasi there are many challenges. But one of the Prabhupada's disciple, Govinda Dasi Mataji, she took a great trouble to grow tulasi leaves. And then Prabhupada says, therefore, we are very grateful to. This is one of the very few places where Prabhupada has mentioned the name of his disciple in his book, in the purport. Govinda Dasi, who took great trouble to grow tulasi in the Western countries. So now tulasi plants are glowing in almost every center of our movement. So I'll discuss something about tulasi in the next class. Tulasi, salile means by the water. So Dhruva Maharaj was definitely worshipping on the bank of Yamuna. So Yamuna and Ganges are sacred. So sometimes certain people may say that deity must be worshipped only with the water of Ganges or Yamuna. But then in Western countries, you will not get water of Ganges and Yamuna. So therefore, that is why the previous shloka it was mentioned that Desha Kala Vibhagavit, according to time and the country and the situation. So that is why we chant the mantra Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sanniting Kuru. We invite all the holy rivers to that particular part of water, and then we use that water in the worship of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, just because the Ganga Yamuna water is not available in the Western countries, it does not mean that worship should be stopped. So whatever is available, it must be one should use that. And also flower garlands, fruits and vegetables should be collected according to the country and according to their availability. In certain places like Russia, where there is such severe winter, sometimes to get flowers is also very difficult. Flowers are very costly there. The tulasi leaves are very important for satisfying the Lord. The Bhagavatam 3rd canto, we saw a shloka. Paravatanya Britasa Rasachakravaka da, Datyuha, no, not that shloka. Mandara Kunda Kurabodh Balachampakarna. Mandara Kunda Kurabodh Balachampakarna. Punnaga Naga Bakulambuja Parijata Ganderchite Tulasika Baranena Tasya Yasmin Tapasumanaso Bakumanayanti. In the Vaikunta, many fragrant plants were there. Many wonderful plants and trees were there, which are known for very producing fragrant flowers. But all these plants and flowers, they worship Tulasi. Because Tulasi is always situated in the lotus feet of Krishna. And they pray to Tulasi that what austerities you have performed to achieve this position. We also want to take birth in Bharatvarsha and perform similar austerities. So this shloka shows that even Vaikunta Vasis desire to take birth in Bharatvarsha. Like that Vishnu Chapatipat comments. So therefore, Tulasi leaves are very important for satisfying the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj was advised to worship the Lord with the fruits and flowers available in the forest. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So one cannot offer it to the deity according to one's whims. But fruits and flowers, vegetables are available everywhere. So one should, one can use that to offer worship. Just we may take one or two shlokas and end. Labdva dravyamayim archam.
लब्ध्वा द्रव्यमयी
Achha.
Shityam vadishu varchayet.
Dityam vadishu achayet.
Abrutatma munishanto.
Abhutatma manishanto.
Yatavangmita vanyabhuk.
Etavang metavanya bhuk. It's possible to worship a form of the Lord made of physical elements such as earth, water, pulp, wood, and metal. In the forest, one can make a form no more than earth and water and worship him according to the above principles. A devotee who has full control over himself should be very sober and peaceful. He must be satisfied simply with with eating whatever fruits and vegetables are available in the forest.
So here Narada Muni says that Labdva dravyamayim archam kshit amvadishu varchayet. Uh, the peaceful sage, uh, Muni, Shanta Munihi, that is the word used. Shanta Munihi, the peaceful sage, he must yata vak mita vanya book. Yata vak, he should control his mind and speech. Abrutatma means controlling the mind. Yata vak means controlling the speech. Mita vanya book, appadina, mita vanya book means one who eats limited amounts of foodstuffs, one who is a moderate eater, eating limited amounts of what is available in the forest. Abruta Munishanta means peaceful sage. Abrutatmak with a controlled mind. Yatavak with a controlled speech. Mita Vanyabuk, one who moderately eats whatever is available in the forest. Such a person, Archayet. Archayet is a Vidiling Lakara, it's like a Vidhi. He must worship. He must worship a farm which is made of Labdva Dravyamayim Archam. A farm which is made of stone or other materials. Or Kshiti Ambu Adishu. Or even in the earth or in the water. So one must worship the farm which is made of the earth or the stone. Like that. Abruta Atma with a fixed mind. So Prabhupada says that it is essential for a devotee to worship the form of the Lord and not only meditate upon the form within the mind, but Narada Muni previously spoke about meditating on the form of the Lord, and then he told about the chanting the mantra. Now he is telling about worshipping the form of the Lord. The worship of the form of must be present. The impersonalist takes unnecessary trouble to meditate or worship something impersonal, but which is very troublesome. Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavadbir avapyate. For an embodied soul, to worship, to meditate on something impersonal is very troublesome, is very difficult. And Krishna himself did not advise such a process. So we are not advised to follow the impersonalist way of meditating. So Dhruva Maharaj was advised to worship a particular form made of earth and water, because in the jungle it is not possible to have a form made of metal, wood or stone. So the best process is to take the earth mixed with water and make a form of the Lord. And also Mita Vanya book, a devotee should not be anxious about cooking food, especially here Dhruva Maharaj is there in the forest. Whatever is available in the forest or in the city should be offered to the deity, and devotee should be satisfied eating that. Of course, wherever it is possible, one should offer the deities the best foodstuffs prepared within the category of fruits and vegetables. Dravyai prasiddhair madhyaga. The 11th canto, Krishna says that one must worship me with the excellent paraphernalia. If it is possible, one must worship the Lord with the excellent paraphernalia. And Mita Vanyabhuk, the devotee should be regulated. That is one of the good qualifications of a devotee. He should not hanker to satisfy the tongue. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udara upastha vegam. He should be satisfied to eat whatever prasad is available by the grace of the Lord. In this way, Narada Muni is continuing his instruction. We will see from the 57th shloka next week. This chapter is a little long chapter, around 80 shlokas are there. Anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think in Nectar of Devotion also, Prabhupada speaks about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. He speaks that anyone who is engaged in devotional service is already at the status of being a high class Brahmana. Our Krishna conscious movement in the Western world is based on the above mentioned proposition of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, our spiritual master. On his authority, we are claiming members all from all sections of the Western countries. The so-called Brahmanas claim that the one who is not born into a Brahmana family cannot receive the sacred thread and cannot become a high-class Vaishnava. But we do not accept such a theory because it is not supported by Group Goswami nor by the strength of the various scriptures. I was just trying to connect with what you were saying.
Shastras actually emphasize three things. Janma, Guna, Karma. All three are emphasized in the Shastra in different places. I've collected a list of quotations where the Shastras emphasize the Guna and Karma. The Shastras also, there are also other quotations where the birth is also emphasized. In the Bhagavatam itself, there is a verse in the 10th canto, 8th chapter. Janmana Brahmano Guruhu. Nanda Maharaj is telling to, I think, Gargacharya, by birth, the Brahmana is the Guru. Another verse in the 10th canto also it is there. So there are verses which also emphasize the birth, and there are verses which emphasize the Guna Karma. So previously, when the Varnashram culture was prominent, generally the samskaras were be maintained, and the people who would be born in a particular family, Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya, they would follow the different rules and regulations. They will continue the legacy. Brahmanas would continue the legacy of Brahmana, Kshatriyas would continue the legacy of Kshatriya, like that. But in due course of time, when the people when the karma anushtana, when they observing the duties, when they become diluted, or when people stop to following their duties, or when there is a mixed caste marriage, Varna Sankara marriage, so then the Varnashram system collapsed. So then the Acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, they gave more importance to the Guna and Karma. So the Janma emphasis was there previously, but as Kali Yuga progressed, previously the previous Acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, they did not utilize that Guna Karma aspect because at that time there was no need, because the Varnashram system was intact properly, therefore only the birth was emphasized previously. But later as the Kali Yuga progressed, when the degradation started, therefore the Acharyas like Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, they emphasized the facility given by the Shastra, that is Guna and Karma. Therefore they gave the Brahman Diksha based on Guna and Karma even to those people who are not born in a Brahmana family. So one thing is that Those who follow even now, there are maybe different packets where they may follow the system of Varnashram based on Janma. That need not be unnecessarily criticized because that is also based on the Shastra. At the same time, if somebody criticizes the Varnashram system based on Guna and Karma, we should defend it because that is also based on the Shastra. Because both the systems are based on the Shastra, that sometimes the followers of one system, they tend to criticize the followers of the other system. So that should not be done. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat Pranam.
Haan.
Prabhuji, prior to coming to ISKCON, so during my childhood, my parents were very much attached to reading Tulsi Ramayana, Tulsidas Ramayana. So I also got attracted and I also started reading. But now also during the time of Ram Navami and Dasera, I read sometimes that. So is it that I am being unchaste to our sampradaya and going out of that our sampradaya? So how to see it, Prabhu?
Sometimes one may read, but Prabhupada in few places he mentions that Ramcharitamanas. What's the name of that? He says that there are certain impersonal Siddhanta is mixed within the personal Siddhanta, like that he says some places. So, generally in our Sampradaya, no Acharya has mentioned about they given particular emphasis to Tulsi Ramayana, and Prabhupada's quotations are there, and therefore the Moola Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana can be given greater emphasis. Sometimes if you are reading, it's all right, sometimes not be that regularly. Once in a while it's all right. Sometimes Radha Govind Maharaj, sometimes he quotes, but that need not be, we not put a separate effort to study a detail this one, because the acharyas have given certain opinions. So sometimes we see that certain things may be very famous among the common people, certain poetry, but common people may not be able to recognize the certain deviation in Siddhanta. There was one devotee who wrote some poem and then presented it to the devotees in the Jagannath Puri. And all the Vaishnavas appreciated like anything. But Sarup Damodar Goswami, he pointed out how in that actually, in that poem, there is a deviation in Siddhanta. There is some impersonalist deviation in Siddhanta. So this shows that sometimes what is popular among the common people, that may not be always proper. There may be certain deviation in Siddhanta. It requires a connoisseur, there's a word called as connoisseur. A person who is expert in the Apasiddhanta, Siddhanta and Rasa. Such a person can actually identify where there is Apasiddhanta or a Rasabhasa. So although it may be actually, especially in this current age, Kali Yuga, sometimes there are say influencers, modern motivational certain people. They are called as influencers. They have 83 lakh followers in the this thing. But then such people, they have very perverted mindset, and that perverted mindset is exposed in certain instances. Common people, many times common people, they don't know how to identify the genuine from the fake. Common people, they take the imitation jewelry to be this one. And sometimes there may be fine deviation. Therefore, the acharyas sometimes point out that therefore it's important to the acharyas this one. If you want to read Ramayana, this one, Valmiki Ramayana is very good, and then there are many books in the Sri Sampradaya. Vedanta Desika has written Paduka Sahasram, like that.
And Prabhuji, Prabhu Vilas Prabhu has also written many books. So that is also. And Prabhuji, I just remembered that once I was coming in the taxi, so I told at ISKCON temple, then taxi driver started to saying that, oh, this ISKCON name is the international name, so it is not in anywhere in Vedas. So why you have given? So I tried to explain him, but many people don't understand. I told him, will Lord not accept Westerners if they chant his name? Then also he was not ready to accept. So instead of getting some Agyas Sukruti, they don't accept that. This I remembered. Mm. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, that Sanyam, which are the three things? One is that that austerity of the speech. One is food, you said. And what was the other Sanyam?
Mind.
Mind. Achha, okay. Even Artha is there, no? Artha Sanyam is also there, no? Something called Artha Sanyam is there?
No, in that shloka it is not. Dhruva
Achha.
Maharaj has no
No,
money
not.
there to.
Yeah, not like that. Otherwise, Artha Sanyam, all that. Is there Artha Sanyam? I was just hearing where they were telling us how to train the kids when they are growing up, because we have to train them. So in that he highlighted this Artha Sanyam very nicely. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Grantara
हरि ओम
Srimad हाँ
हरि ओम नमस्कारः धन्यवादः पुनः
हाँ नमस्कारम. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. श्रील